Okay, and we're live. Guys, welcome to another edition of the OpIndia podcast. Thank you to everyone who's joined us live. Thank you to everyone as well who's going to be watching this later on. We're back after a week's hiatus, and I am joined as usual today by Kushal Mehra. Hi, Kushal.
Hi, Sham. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great time. Sorry that we could not make it, last week.
Yeah,
So,
no, I was on vacation, so my apologies. But I am also joined this week. We have a special one for you because we're joined today by Rahul Roushan as well. So we're excited to get this podcast underway. Welcome to the show, Rahul.
Namaste, Sahara Padam, Jai Shri Ram.
All right, so we have tons to get through today, and one of the interesting things that happened this week is Congress came out with their manifesto, and it's a pretty big manifesto as you'd expect for a national election. So we were thinking rather than go point by point through every single aspect of the manifesto, what would be interesting is to go through the panel today and go through the people today, and we can sort of go through what each of us found stuck out for us within the manifesto. So let's start with you, Kushal, and then we can bring in me and Rahul as well. So, what was something that stuck out, or maybe concerned you, or that you liked or hated, whatever it was within the manifesto?
obviously, we're going to be talking about the main issue, which is going to be the Nyaya scheme. So, I want to
Hmm,
skip that because that is something where I want to hear more for what you and Rahul have to say.
sure.
But I want to touch on a separate aspect. Now, somewhere hidden in this entire claim that the Congress has made, because obviously I could not read the whole manifesto, but what I
Hmm,
did was I started scanning the entire internet for whatever are the highlights of the entire manifesto. And
hmm,
in that there was a specific claim. There was a claim like they want to make the budget for the education sector ka pura thingy, which is going to be 6% of the GDP. Now, the only question that I want to ask is, look, I am not an expert here, but what I want to know is, ye hoga kaise?
yeah.
I mean, some of the claims that are made in the manifesto, and before somebody comes up with the retort of whataboutery, as it BJP bhi apne manifesto mein bahut claim karta hai. The point is, well, you question the BJP, right? When BJP makes an untenable claim, and why I say this is untenable is, let us look at, we have a fixed amount of money available in the economy as of today. Like,
Hmm,
हमें पता है कि हमारा इतना रेवेन्यू जनरेशन होने वाला है, इतना हमारा डेट है और इतना हमको फिस्कल डेफिसिट मेंटेन करना है, and the target that is claimed by the BJP government has always been that we are going to try to keep it under 3.5%, right? हम
hmm,
लोग का
hmm.
3.5% का टारगेट होता है हमेशा, करंट एनडीए गवर्नमेंट का, सॉरी, बीजेपी नहीं. तो ऐसे सिनेरियो में अगर कांग्रेस मैनिफेस्टो लाता है और वो बोलता है 6% ऑफ जो जीडीपी के अप्रोक्सीमेटली कर देंगे, सो हाउ डू यू थिंक वी आर गोइंग टू बी इन अ पोजीशन टू इवन फुलफिल दिस प्रॉमिस? Now, the second point I wanted to add, and this has nothing to do with the manifesto of the Congress in general, but I wanted to know your views on two topics. One was the
Hmm.
6% का GDP का target, and one was every time, जब भी कोई manifesto आता है, so there is this whole thing. And noticed in the left wing media especially, जब भी बीजेपी
Yeah.
अपना मैनिफेस्टो डालता है ना, तो लेफ्ट विंग मीडिया वाले बोलेंगे, इंडिया में मैनिफेस्टो कौन पढ़ता है? बीजेपी का मैनिफेस्टो कोई नहीं पढ़ता, मगर कांग्रेस का सब पढ़ते हैं apparently.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? So first, Sham, I want to know your views, and then we can go to Rahul for a more detailed explanation.
Sure, and it is an interesting one, isn't it? The whole keep expenditure education पे हम इतना सारा बढ़ा देंगे, पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? Then they say भाई we will guarantee health security for all. कह रहे हैं कि भाई हम एक right to healthcare act enact करेंगे, under which every single citizen of the country is going to get healthcare services, free diagnostics, outpatient care, medicines, everything. So the same question comes up, पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? And we can get into the whole yeah, I think in a little bit, but then let's come back to farm loan waivers. You look at it, कि हम farm loan waive कर देंगे across the country. But if you look at their track record so far, Karnataka आप देख लो, पंजाब देख लो, मध्य प्रदेश देख लो, छत्तीसगढ़ देख लो, इन सब में they promise कि भाई हम farm loan waive कर देंगे. But if at all बहुत बहुत हल्का फुल्का काम हुआ in terms of waiving any of these loans. So आप the question, it's a very good question कि भाई पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? You're promising so many things that is going to require a massive outlay. where is all that money going to come from? And it's not necessarily detailed within the manifesto convincingly. It sort of reminds me, and don't jump on me, anybody in the comment section, because I'm not saying that the Congress is Pakistani. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, it reminds me a little bit of when Imran Khan was coming to power in the elections. And when he ran the election, he said, ki, bhai, I will make Pakistan a welfare state. Everybody gets everything. And nobody asked him. Everybody said, look at Imran Khan, what a great man, what a wonderful vision he has for Pakistan. But nobody asked him, होगा कैसे? भैया तुम्हारे देश के पास फूटी कौड़ी नहीं है स्पेंड करने के लिए, वेलफेयर स्टेट कहां से बनाओगे आप? So that is what it sort of reminds me of, is promising, the world, but you don't have the resources to be able to deliver the world to the people. So I'll let Rahul jump into it now.
Yeah, that's obviously the question. पैसा कहाँ से आएगा?
हाँ.
कांग्रेस को मालूम है पैसा तो बहुत है, उनके पॉकेट में चला जाता है, तो वो बताएं, तो इसलिए शायद सो बेसिकली दे शुड से कि हम स्कैम नहीं करेंगे, वो भी नहीं बोल, पहले बोल दे आर सेइंग कि लाइक इट्स ऑब्वियस कि पैसा गवर्नमेंट हैज टू इंक्रीज द स्पेंडिंग, दे हैव टू इंक्रीज अर्निंग, एंड दैट only way the government earns, through taxes. So अभी they have got वो पढ़ गए हैं, कोई कभी सैम पेट्रोदा बोलता है कि हाँ टैक्स बढ़ेगा, their own economic advisors say कि obviously टैक्स तो बढ़ाना पड़ेगा, there would be more inflation and stuff like that, and now Rahul Gandhi says टैक्स नहीं बढ़ेगा. So I mean, like, it's not just about their manifesto, and media is obviously not going to question them कि पैसा कहाँ से आएगा. जब राहुल जी ने इतने सारे, like what OpIndia has done, Nupur's exclusive reports recently, how he bought land and he bought properties from a company that used of 2G scam, उसके लिए पैसा कहाँ से आया ये तो पूछ नहीं रहे हैं. तो देश का पैसा कहाँ से आएगा ये कहाँ से पूछेंगे? ये तो बिल्कुल ब्रेड एंड बटर टीआरपी वाली खबर है कि आप किसी लीडर से पूछो कि आपने इतने करोड़ की प्रॉपर्टी खरीदी और आप कुछ पढ़े लिखे हो नहीं, तो आपके पास पैसा कहाँ से आया? ये इसमें तो मैं तो कहूँगा भाई एनडीटीवी और इन सब वालों को उनसे ज्यादा वायर इनको सोचना चाहिए कि भाई एक लालू का बेटा कमाता है तो आप पूछते हो कि कहाँ से लिया, लेकिन ये जनेऊधारी ब्राह्मण इतना पैसा बना रहा है तो आप नहीं पूछते कि तुम्हारे पास पैसा कहाँ से. ये तो खास मनुवादी है मीडिया वाले, ये जनेऊधारी ब्राह्मण को नहीं पूछ रहे कि तुम्हारे पास पैसा कहाँ से आया, तुमने ये कहाँ से करोड़ों की प्रॉपर्टी ले ली, और बेचारा अखिलेश यादव को पूछते हैं कि तुम्हारे पास कहाँ से आया पैसा, लालू यादव के बेटे को पूछते हैं. But jokes aside, obviously both of these questions are unanswered. It simply makes no sense how Congress is going to fund their promises, and obviously how Rahul has funded his business deals and properties. So that things obviously stucks out, but then I mean वही है को like you said Sam, पाकिस्तान में जैसे किसी ने नहीं पूछा इमरान को, यहाँ भी कोई पूछ रहा है, लोगों को सपने अच्छे लगते हैं तो बढ़िया है.
सपनों के पैसे नहीं ना लगते.
The only thing is that perhaps people, I get a feeling that people do realize कि ये especially this family has been ruling for so long and they have been saying things again and again. So what has changed that we should again trust them, that from Garibi Hatao to everything, what has changed now? So that's my only hope is from the common people actually. Obviously the media is not going to ask these questions and we are not going to find answers because it beats logic obviously.
Yeah, and I think this brings us to the point of Nyaya as well, because there's other parts of the manifesto that concern me, and I think that concern everybody here as well. But let's quickly talk about the whole Nyaya system, because it kind of comes into what the thread of what we were talking about. कि भैया पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? आप ये कह रहे हो कि हम एक परसेंटेज ऑफ पॉपुलेशन को इतना पैसा महीने का देंगे हर महीने. तो इसमें दो चीजें हैं न्याय के सिस्टम में. पहला है कि भाई व्हाट वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट, पैसा कहाँ से आएगा. दूसरा है कि इज दैट द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ अ गवर्नमेंट? is the responsibility of a government to give people money? Is that the responsibility कि हम हर महीने तुमको इतने पैसे देंगे? Or the responsibility of the government is कि we will make sure that you are in a position to find work. We will make sure कि आपको हम इस position में डाल सके कि आप you can go and be gainfully employed. So let's sort of get into that discussion as well. But first, let's tackle the whole Nyaya aspect. So Kushal, take it away.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about more of the philosophical aspects. So I have been a vocal opponent of the whole idea of a universal basic income since the get-go. Now, for people who don't understand what the Nyaya scheme is, it's basically universal basic income, to be very honest. Universal basic income, a lot of people will not realize that was also proposed by one of the most foremost right-wing economists in the world, Milton Friedman. But obviously, Milton Friedman, when he had, जब उन्होंने ये proposal दिया था, उनका idea था कि society में already subsidies exist करती हैं, right? तो उनका कहना था कि वो किस्म की सब्सिडीज देने से अच्छा आप सीधा एक यूनिवर्सल बेसिक इनकम लोगों को दे दो और काम खत्म करो एंड मूव फॉरवर्ड. नाउ इफ दैट इज द concept of universal basic income that is going to be proposed as per the Congress party in their manifesto, I would not have complained as much as I am fretting and frothing over here right now, because that is exactly not what they have done. They are saying कि already जो subsidies हैं वो subsidies तो रहने वाली हैं, उसके ऊपर you're going to create the system which is so confused. This is like a jalebi, that whole system, you know, गोल गोल घूमते जाओ, कुछ समझ नहीं पड़ने वाला है क्या हो रहा है. एक तरफ बोलते हैं 12,000 सबको मिलेंगे, फिर कोई पुश करता है बोलता है नहीं उसको नहीं मिलेंगे, फिर अगर कोई पूछता है कि अरे उसको क्यों नहीं मिलेंगे, अच्छा ठीक है उसको भी मिलेंगे, तो एग्जैक्टली तो डिसाइड कर लो ना किसको मिलने वाला है. एंड आई हैव फिलोसॉफिकल इश्यूज एट दिस लेवल कि व्हाई वुड अ पर्सन who gets paid 12,000 a month, let's assume for argument's sake, why how and why does it help that person? In what way? Do we have any data? Exactly. As of now, universal basic income has been experimented on a pilot level in 2 European nations. One of them I know is Finland. They did the pilot in Finland for 3 years. I believe the other one's Norway too. Yeah, right? Yeah, I think it was Norway and Finland. The Finland one I know for sure, and that was scrapped. Now, the argument for UBI in the West has been ki, look, there have been certain blue-collar jobs that were done by, in America, what they call the Rust Belt people, right? The drivers, the Uber drivers, the truck drivers, etc. Now, automation is going to create a scenario where these people are not going to be jobbed, and we simply don't have a method where a 55-year-old or a 40-year-old truck driver is going to be reskilled. I don't even buy that argument personally, but that's a separate issue. So for that, and because they don't have a population which can be handled in a new job market, what they claim, they need a universal basic income to support those people. Very interesting. They're claiming they want to support those people because these are the same people the lefties usually hate in the politics of that part of the world, because these people, usually your Uber drivers and your cab drivers and your truck drivers, are usually Republican voters. Yep. So it's now if we leave that aside, now how would that transfer in India? We already have, like, I have worked in rural India. I know there is a scheme for everything. You want a sewing machine? If you're in rural India, you get a scheme. You want a bathroom? You get 12,000 rupees. You want, I think it's around 40 kgs of grain, you get on that. And on top of that, you're giving a person 12,000 rupees. We already have the results of Manrega and how it has destroyed the economy till the extent that labor prices were, increased in a very weird way because the labor market got sucked dry in its own way. Now, what would be the catapulting effect of a scheme like Nyaya? I get scared because it's a ridiculous scheme. As एक तो हम लोग afford ही नहीं कर सकते, वो separate बात है कि ये कितना बड़ा भोंडा मजाक है. और दूसरा, if I was the middle class of India, I should be scared of this scheme. क्योंकि ये पैसा तो हमसे वसूल करेंगे मिडिल क्लास वालों से. तो मिडिल क्लास जाएगा किधर? या तो बोल दो मिडिल क्लास वाले साले सुसाइड कर लो तुम लोग, और कुछ काम नहीं है तुम लोगों को, तुम सुसाइड करो, हम तो तुम्हारे पैसे के पीछे आ रहे हैं. एनीवेज, राहुल, सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक, ये स्कीम का फंडा क्या है तेरे हिसाब से?
No, actually it was nice listening to you, because frankly I have not researched much like you what you said. Obviously, the questions remain what you say, how it is going to be implemented. The biggest question obviously is from where the money will come. But even if we set that aside, say that, okay, money came from wherever, without even raising taxes, without even uh, increasing, choosing the middle class. Say, paisa aa gaya. Now what? How exactly are you going to distribute it?
Yeah,
That's
a
even
good
bigger.
point.
We don't have any official record of who is earning how much. You have put cut off the 20% of the poorest. Now, when you put such a number, it assumes that you have data.
Yeah.
So where are you going to find out, to list in that 20% who are going to be the beneficiary? Okay. And they have already muddled it. Ki, nahi, we are going to match. Everyone is going to be like 6,000. अगर कोई इतना कर रहा है तो उसका हम gap fill कर देंगे. It's completely, the execution, how it's going to be implemented is completely, we don't know. We
Hmm.
obviously don't know पैसा कहाँ से आएगा. बट अगर पैसा आ गया, दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, तो भी कैसे इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे, वी आर नॉट क्लियर. Thirdly, as Kushal had said, it's actually very much relevant over here also.
Hmm.
यहाँ, when these guys see currently what is happening, when Rahul Gandhi goes to Kerala in Wayanad, and the first thing I also raised, and Prime Minister Modi also later said, no, I'm not saying Modi raised, because so, they raised
No,
that,
you
okay,
should say that.
uh,
You should. Why not?
the Hindu majority area. Now, forget that for a moment. What has been the Congress defense? That Rahul is doing it because there is a north-south divide.
Hmm.
So Rahul has gone to Wayanad because among the southern population there is a feeling that we are not being treated well. Now,
Hmm.
this sentiment has been hyped, has been fanned by Congress for more than 2 or 3 years recently. We saw that during Karnataka assembly elections also. They were talking about things like United States of South India and
Yeah.
stuff like that. One of the most popular populist things that they I'm explaining why I'm saying that
Sure.
was, that they said that, why should the rich South, which has become rich because of its competence and because of its population control, why should it fund the poor North? Now this thing exactly does the same.
Yeah.
If you are fanning a sentiment that North is a burden on South, then why are you giving free money to the Northern, to
Yeah.
the Northeast? Most poor people are actually in the North India. So somebody should ask it. I mean, then the South Indians should start saying that, okay, why should we give our money 20% of the poorest? I mean, just let us find out of these 20%, a huge majority is going to be in UP, Bihar, and Rajasthan. Why should South fund it?
Yeah.
So it's on how the money will come. That obviously is the question, and how it's going to be implemented. How are you going to identify the beneficiaries? That is going to be a problem. And thirdly, on philosophical, on rhetoric level,
Yeah.
it is what Congress has been trying to do. It will actually create north-south divide, and
Yeah.
I'm damn sure that Congress itself, its own ecosystem, will raise these things later on so that they don't have to implement it. They will say, "Oh God, अभी हम न्याय करेंगे, north-south में झगड़ा हो जाएगा. So first, let's settle this."
Yeah.
So this bullshit. This is a very well thought of scheme to cheat people.
Yeah.
They
And they have an escape plan in place.
Right. So they know this is unimplementable. They will do all kind of nonsense after, if at all they are going to win and
Hmm.
they are in power, they are going to do all kinds of nonsense that, okay, we don't have enough data, north and south, and all kind of rubbish cast, obviously.
Yeah.
Everything come in later on.
Yeah. It's such an incredible thing. That we're only talking about so far about things that are going to cost a certain amount of money, and we're wondering where the money is going to come from and all of those things. And there's already so much crazy stuff that we talked about, but there's more, whether or not you can believe it. So the Congress also had this point in their manifesto where they go on and say that we will pass a law in the first session of the 17th Lok Sabha and in the Rajya Sabha to prevent and punish hate crimes such as mob engineered stripping, burning, and lynching. And the law will contain provisions to compensate the victims and to hold accountable the police and district administration for proven negligence. So this is very interesting because it sort of buys into or follows up with the same narrative that the Congress and their ecosystem has been trying to create कि भाई जब से बीजेपी पावर में आई है ओवरनाइट हिंदू पगला गए हैं और हिंदू घूम घूम के लोगों को रास्ते में हर जगह सबको पीट रहे हैं. So that's basically the narrative that has been created, and this part of the manifesto is forwarding that narrative. And this whole part is very interesting because this law, whatever that they're trying to create, is pretty much redundant, at least in my opinion. I'd like to know what you guys think. In my opinion, at least, it's redundant because there are already laws against this whole lynching thing. Yeah, lynching is already illegal in the Indian legal system. You read section 302, you read section 326, section 149 of the Indian Penal Code, it becomes quite clear that something like lynching is completely illegal. And so I just find that very, very interesting. And reading something like that just reminds me of I think you guys might remember, and I don't know how many people in the audience might know of this, but the Congress folk and the ecosystem came around and they sat down with people like Sheila Rashid, and they came out with this act called the Manav Suraksha Kanun, which was called the Masuka Act. And they were talking about how this act is going to fight lynchings and stuff like that. So first of all, I've already talked about how lynching is already illegal, so I don't know why you need a specific act for it. But if you look at the act that these Congress people created in trying to combat this lynching phenomenon, it has some very vague definitions, and it has some things that can be very easily misconstrued. So section 2D of the Manav Suraksha Kanun, it says that distributing of offensive material can land you in jail and can make it prosecutable. So offensive material shall mean any material that can be reasonably construed to have been made to incite a mob to lynch a person, and shall include material promoting lynching on the grounds of religion, race, or anything else. So if you look at that basically it says that it can be reasonably construed. Reasonably construed is a weird thing because it can include literally anything. Reasonably construed can mean literally anything. So this is a very dangerous precedent that the Congress party is trying to set, and we'll come into another aspect of it, which is Article 66A in a little bit. But let's just focus on this whole aspect of कि भाई पूरे देश में लिंचिंग हो रही है, इसलिए हमें लिंचिंग का एक अलग कानून बनाना जरूरी है जिसमें कि हमको एक बहुत वेग डेफिनेशंस डाले ऑफेंसिव मटेरियल की and what causes offense. So Kushal, let me start from you first, and we'll come to Rahul after that. I don't know. I find it absolutely unnecessary, an act of this kind, and B, it's very dangerous that a political party is discussing something like this.
So let us start with the whole subject of lynching itself to begin with. So if you guys remember, a few days ago, I had done a Twitter thread, which I had started by tagging Rahul, actually, of all the people, where basically I just did a 4-hour Google search, right? I just typed the keyword lynching, and with the lynching, literally, this is what I was searching on Google. I would type goat lynching, India, three words, goat lynching in India. And I would get articles about how a person gets lynched for stealing a goat. Then I type chappal lynching India. I get people lynching each other for chappal. So the point is, see, what they're trying to do is very clear. First point, laws in India are not made most of the times considering we want to solve a problem.
Yes.
Laws in India are made considering we want to virtue signal, or we want to signal to our potential voters that, look, we are doing something. I mean, that's all we have done all the time. I mean, if you look at, other democracies around the world, I don't know how many times these guys pass laws, but we love passing constitutional amendments and laws. It's like a national pastime. I feel sometimes it has become a national obsession. But what is scary about this law is, if you ask me, this is sending a clear-cut message to the voters across India, especially the Hindu voters, that we are coming after you.
Yeah.
They have by default. I mean, आज का ही example लो, आज उर्मिला मातोंडकर ने टीवी में क्या बकवास करती. It is a clear-cut messaging being given to a particular section of the Hindu community that we believe you are monsters, and you monsters need a law to be curtailed. Because this is a country where you can be lynched for stealing a pump set, a bicycle, a motorbike, a chappal, a goat, a cow, प्रोटेक्टिंग अ काउ, स्टीलिंग अ काउ, व्हाटएवर, यू कैन डू एनीथिंग। हमारे यहाँ पे लॉ एंड ऑर्डर एक इशू है, हमारे यहाँ पे किसी को भी आके, जैसे अपने को बोलते हैं पब्लिक धुलाई करना, ये तो सबने सुना होगा ये शब्द पब्लिक धुलाई। तो किसी को भी कभी भी मार देते हैं हमारे यहाँ पे, कोई भी आता है थप्पड़ खा के चले जाता है। और ऐसे में आप इतने ड्रेकोनियन लॉज बनाते हो। वी हैव सीन हाउ लॉज आर मिसयूज्ड इन इंडिया। आपने अभी देखा 66A में कितने इनोसेंट लोगों के पीछे पड़ी थी गवर्नमेंट। ये मिस्टर सिब्बल ने वो जो लॉ बनाया था और पीछे पड़ गए थे लोगों के। रिसेंटली मैंने पढ़ा कि आपने लीडर के बारे में कुछ लिख दिया, फेसबुक कमेंट, तो अभी उसके लिए उठा के ले आते हैं। तो अभी ये लिंचिंग, अभी लिंचिंग में क्या कर सकते हैं? मेरे को तो इतना डर लग रहा है, फिर सिलेक्टिवली रिपोर्ट करेंगे कि इसने इसको लिंच किया, इसने उसका किया। फिर वो जलेबी के जैसे अपने न्यूज स्टोरीज बनाएंगे गोल गोल घुमाने वाली। फिर वो वायर लिख देगा कि जी हमने तो ये कर दिया था, लुक एट इट, उसके आंसू देखो, आंसू देखो उसके। फिर वो आंसू, कैमरा कैमरा आसमान पे, सारे लोग रो रहे हैं इंडिया के, फिर वही होएगा, ये कहानी करते जाएंगे। इट स्केयर्स मी कि किसी को भी, सी दीज लॉज कैन फ्रेम इनोसेंट पीपल। द होल आइडिया इज वी नीड कॉप्स and then we need counseling and genuine truth and reconciliation between communities. I'm not talking about just Hindus and Muslims. Even, you know, there are caste violences also, na? Intercaste violences bhi hoti hai India mein, kabhi kabhi intercaste conflicts ho jate hain. So what we need is genuine truth and reconciliation to close the fissures in our society. How can this law close the fissures? I don't know. It scares me. Actually, if you ask me, I'm scared about this law.
Yeah. Rahul, what do you think about this?
See, their Congress, obviously, how they are being hypocritical is obvious. They talked about removing sedition law, and the reason, obviously, I say could be justified, is that they say that there are other laws which already take care of that. Now, this is exactly what you said about lynch. You know, so when you have so much of logic, when you have so much of understanding that a law of sedition can be done away because there are other provisions, then why do you need a new law so far as lynching is concerned? So that taught me that's a illogical belief right over there. That then it means that a construct called nation is less important than you. A construct called country is less important than you than the idea of a community. Then you are talking that you are against identity politics. It's rubbish. So you think the country doesn't need a sedition law, but you want to protect communities. Now, obviously, there is nothing wrong in protecting people from being lynched. I mean, obviously, it's ridiculous. Anyone will say that, okay, go ahead and punish. But as Kushal said, actually, Kushal, don't just Google goat and lynching. You know what has been happening in that before 2014, before Modi came to power, there was the lynching was known as भीड़ ने पीट पीट कर मार डाला. You know, all this khabar, all this news would come in Dainik Bhaskar, Dainik Jagran, Amar Ujalas, and after 2014, selectively, some of those bheed ne peet kar maar dala has become lynching. So lynching, I agree, lynching didn't exist before 2014. It existed in Hindi. After 2014, the crime has started existing in English. That is the problem. So obviously, so it's not just about goat and slippers and all that. Even the lynching that these guys talk about, the lynchings based on religious or community feelings, they have been also going on. Nobody says that, okay, since it was going on, it's fine. But why are you trying to say that now you need a new law? And what exactly? I mean, this is ridiculous. What is lynching? It's a group of people killing someone. So murder already is illegal. Group of people coming together to do something is 120B. It's criminal conspiracy. That is also illegal. So what special are you trying to do apart from virtue signaling, which Kushal said? So obviously, it's not a step towards protecting any set of people. It's not a step towards strengthening your law and order, which is the most important thing. It is about virtue signaling. Today, what my cook actually came, and I was supposed to, I thought that this podcast might get disturbed because, the cook could come. So I asked her to come early, and she has now gone. Now, she was telling me a very interesting thing that in her area, which is, rural Gurgaon, that some policemen came, and the policemen were trying to, perhaps there was some illegal liquor shop over there, or I don't know what. So they were trying to remove that. And some of the women of this guy who runs the liquor shop, they started claiming that you guys are trying to sexually harass us. And they asked people that, अबे mobile se phone record kar. ये सारा. So this is how unfortunately things are moving. That they now that claim that the police may harass us, we women. So gender issue, right? So we can we can get things in our favor. Now, when you start making laws that encourage such virtue signaling, you are also risking encouraging such behavior. I will throw political correctness out of window, and I'll say obviously people will misuse it.
Yeah.
Much more than say an anti-dowry law is misused or anything is misused. The moot point is that the police, the law and order has to be strengthened. The police is under pressure to act against criminals. Now you will see, what I just told you, that extra pressures you are creating because of this virtue signaling. People will very easily understand how to take benefit of such laws and put law enforcement people under pressure.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, Congress should have the same standard for this problem as they have for what we call sedition.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And, it sort of brings us to that other point as well. We briefly spoke about it, but we talked about Article 66A, and our Kapil Sibal brought in Article 66A because the manifesto also promises that they're going to pass regulations to stop the spread of fake news and hate speech and punish those who misuse digital and social media. So that line is a very, very ominous line for anybody who uses social media for almost any reason. Because if the audience watching here is not familiar with what Article 66A was, let me just read you a couple of provisions of Article 66A. So Article 66A can basically punish people who publish something on social media or on the internet which has any information grossly offensive or that has a menacing character, any information known to be false, but for causing annoyance, inconvenience, danger, obstruction, insult, injury, criminal intimidation, enmity, hatred, or ill will, any electronic mail or e-message for causing annoyance or inconvenience or to deceive and mislead the addressee or recipient about the origin of such messages. So that is what we had the last time the UPA was in power in terms of, stopping the spread of fake news and stopping harassment on social media. And the problem with that, in my opinion, is that the definition of hate speech, the definition of harassment, the definition of offensiveness can be anything you decide that it is. Anything that the government decides is hate speech and offensive and propaganda becomes that. So that essentially, people, I feel like a lot of people I don't see a lot of noise about something like this in social media. And I feel like social media and people that are using social media should be screaming from the rooftops about this provision in the manifesto, because it's a scary thing that if, and I might not necessarily have a dog in the fight because I don't live in India. But for example, if people that live in India, people that use the internet, we've already seen in the past, so many years that these laws and these provisions can be very heavily misused. So seeing that a government is actively and proudly admitting this or putting this in their agenda or their manifesto, it's a scary thought. And Kushal, I'll let you just handle this really quickly because this is something, we've talked about countless times before. And what do you make of this whole provision yourself?
I'm shit scared. I mean, another vague law. Again, fake
That
news.
it's the
You
vagueness
find,
of it, right? It's the vagueness of it that's really scary because it can be whatever you want it to be.
yeah, that's the thing. And this is one more case of where you give the state. And look, it doesn't matter what the state is. My fundamental problem, obviously, I have voting choices and voting preferences. Yeah, I vote for the BJP, but never in my wildest dreams do I want the BJP or the Congress or the great man Aam Aadmi Party wala Kejru Chacha himself. I don't want any of these buggers with so many powers. Ye to kya hoega? This is like the local गुंडा कमिंग टू यू, अरे आजा मेरे पास जस्टिस ना, मेरे को लगता है ये फेक न्यूज है. अरे कैसे डिफाइन किया?
Yeah.
See, either we've come to a place where if you make a very specific utterance that is obviously false, then you have libel laws, right?
Yep.
I'm all for civil libel laws. Why do you need this? Now, it's a very clear cut understanding here that they want to fix people. This is a very authoritarian mindset, and this has always been the Congress mindset.
Yep.
In India, at least, this is the Congress mindset. They come up with these laws under the garb of being, oh, we are so nice, we are so kind, we want to control fake news, or hate speech. ये क्या hate speech है? I hate करेला.
Yeah.
Is that hate speech? I mean, मेरे को
It could
नफरत है
well be.
करेले से, बहुत घटिया टेस्ट है उसका.
It could
तो
well
मतलब
be.
ये हेट स्पीच हो गया. भाई क्या है ये इतना डेंजरस लाइन ऑफ आर्ग्यूमेंट है ये हेट स्पीच वाला. एंड आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ y'all have read it, so I would recommend everyone just do this. Go on Google and last search करो law commission recommendations on hate speech. There was a report, I had tweeted about it 2 years ago. Pratyasha Rath also wrote a very nice article about hate speech law recommendations by the current law commission also, by the way, under this government. You should read those recommendations. जिसको बोलते हैं ना डर जाओगे, वो लिटरल हॉरर शो है. वो कुछ भी चीज वो लोग हेट स्पीच के अंदर ले आएंगे. इट इज सो स्कैरी. आप ये पक्का समझ लेना, दिस विल बी यूज्ड स्पेशली, एंड आई से दिस विद फुल रिस्पांसिबिलिटी, to protect certain religions and certain bad ideas in those religions from being criticized. Mark my words.
Yep. Rahul, go ahead.
Obviously, that's how it's old-fashioned. I mean, my first reaction on Twitter also was the same. That hate speech, it's very, actually very scary term. Like there is no objective definition. And I was actually, in a meeting with one of the people from Facebook, because I run a Facebook page, and there was a meeting where we were supposed to put our grievances, that how they randomly unpublish some pages or stuff like that. Although that fortunately hasn't happened to OpIndia yet, but still I was there, and one of the reasons, issues that came up was hate speech. And now this person from Facebook was saying that no, hate speech, there is no subjectivity in that. Now that's most absurd thing I ever heard. By that time, when I'm in a meeting, usually after 5 minutes I feel why I'm there. So I taking part, but I was what the hell. Hate speech is absolutely subjective. As Kushal said, I hate Karela. Why should it not be hate speech? Actually, the thing is that if you say Brahmins destroyed democracy in India, is it hate? Actually, you can go and say that, and you can actually publish a research paper on this, and you can become a doctorate in PhD.
Yep.
You say Muslims destroyed secularism in India, 100% it will be treated as hate speech. So my thumb rule actually is that just to see how hypocritical this whole idea of hate speech is, that take any sentence on Brahmins from the so-called left liberal intelligentsia, and instead of Brahmin, insert Muslims over there, and in place of Brahmanism, insert Islam.
Yeah.
Whatever intellectual, whatever scholarly they call will completely turn into hate speech. The two definers have changed. So it's absurd. So so very very it is scary. It obviously is about protecting certain ideas from being criticized, to make it about hate speech, and more than that, it's again what we were discussing. Why do you need such a law?
Yeah.
Even when 66A came, it was very much evident. People went on and they argued that we already have existing laws. Uh, I'm fine. Is it breaking? Anyway, so
I can hear you, but it's hard to see you, but we can hear you, I think.
okay, so fine. So my question, my submission was again the same, that this again we didn't need 66A itself, because there were existing laws against speech as well. In fact, we are hardly speech friendly a nation. Our
Yeah.
First Amendment itself puts restriction on speech, so we don't need any other law at all that puts more restriction on speech. I mean, even in terms of lynching, what that Masuka thing that we were discussing.
Yeah.
So you already have this IPC 153, I believe, which punishes speech or any action which promotes enmity between communities. What
Yeah.
else is it's about hate speech only. So there are already so many laws that puts curb on hate speech, as we all know. In fact, not many of us unfortunately know that our great Jawaharlal Nehru brought the First Amendment to Constitution actually to curb speech,
Yeah.
and it was and the wording already are so vague that we don't need another curb. Already, speech is not at all free over here.
Yeah.
The one thing free is obviously the promises that Congress is doing. So we don't
Whoops.
think we lost Rahul.
I think we might have lost him. I think you might have just need to ask him to log back in, because sometimes when you're on the phone, sometimes it tends to freeze. So we'll hopefully try and get Rahul back. Kushal will try and get in touch with him, and we'll hopefully try to get him to
Yeah, let's go on to the
re-log
next
in.
subject.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
on to the next subject. And I want to ask you something, Kushal. What is Rahul Gandhi doing in Wayanad?
What is Rahul Gandhi doing in Wayanad?
Why
Actually,
in
that's
Wayanad?
something
Why?
I honestly don't know what he's doing in Wayanad, but so actually, Rahul, I wanted to expand on the point Rahul had made on Twitter about Rahul Gandhi being selected, being deciding to fight his elections from Wayanad on that particular day, or that particular constituency. It was an interesting choice, let me tell you. So by the way, Rahul has left the call, so he'll join us soon.
Okay.
So in the meantime, let's start with things as they are. So every time you have the standard thing, right? Every time, this is not the first politician that has fought from 2 seats. Oh, we have Rahul is back with
Rahul's
us.
back.
Yeah, awesome. So let's start with this. First of all, this whole question itself. Okay, if we are going to set a precedent that no politician should be allowed to fight from 2 Lok Sabha constituencies,
Yeah.
I have no issues with that. I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
game. If we want to have a blanket law कि boss आप एक सीट सिलेक्ट करो, ठीक है, अगर आपको करना है करो, मगर मेरे को एक्चुअल में ये जानना है कि प्रॉब्लम क्या है अगर 2 सीट से लड़ रहा है आदमी. मेरे को जानना है. What is worth to be discussed is what Rahul had tweeted about the selection of the constituency.
Yes.
And the mindset behind it. That is what is fascinating. So Vajpayee has fought from 2 seats. Everybody knows that. Narendra Modi fought from 2 seats. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Rahul Gandhi is fighting from 2 seats. Why though? Why? And Rahul, I want you to elaborate on that. You tweeted about that civilizational aspect. So can you elaborate and explain what you were trying to say through those tweets?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually in response to what I think Surjewala had said, that finally when somebody in the media asked him that is Rahul Gandhi looking for a safe seat, So Surjewala said that no, not at all. This is not about looking for a safe seat. Even Prime Minister Modi had chosen Varanasi. Was he scared of losing? So I said yes, completely. That's exactly. I mean, Surjewala has given perfect analogy, perfect example
Yeah.
of why people choose when he said about Narendra Modi. Now Modi chose Varanasi because it was a clear civilizational messaging over there that it's a country, it's a constituency where it's supposed to be the temple town. Kumbh is there, Ganga Maiya ne mujhe bulaya hai, and stuff like that. And then you also have the Kashi Gyan Vapi mosque that
Hmm.
the second Ayodhya, many people say. uh, so it was a very well thought of uh, 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 thinking of why Modi, after Gujarat, chose Varanasi. So when Rahul Gandhi also does the same, and Congress itself says that the reasons are not because he's looking for a safe seat, but
Hmm.
because of they did. So they themselves made that argument first, and I said that, oh, I completely agree.
Yeah.
So choosing Wayanad, they didn't have any actually any explanation at all. After almost 3, 4, 5 days, with help of their friendly journalists, they finally came up with an explanation that it is about South and North.
Yeah.
You know, why? I mean, why didn't Surjewala say that when the question was first asked? It was they couldn't think. It was an afterthought. This whole South versus North thing is an afterthought. The clear thing that was that subconsciously or maybe consciously, Rahul Gandhi chose that seat because it signifies it caters to the to a audience that they are trying to reach out to, and perhaps very scarily
Yeah.
for some people, it actually looks the Congress is actually preparing itself for an eventual demography that we are going to look at. So whether it's called scaremongering or whether it's called anything bigotry or whatever, that's what I would stick to. That the Congress has chosen. Rahul Gandhi has gone to that seat, and there is a very. I mean, the whole thing in the manifesto, everything points towards that only.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
from being economic left, perhaps they are now becoming cultural left, cultural Marxist as well, which is
Yeah.
very bad.
It's a very good point. The point that you're making of Congress hedging its bets, that it's almost as if Congress has made its mind up that Hindus are not going to vote for Rahul Gandhi. That's what the Congress is saying by this decision. That is not what anybody else is saying. Congress, the way it acts, is what is the message that is being sent out to people. So we're going to go to a place in Wayanad where we're going to ride on the 68% share between Muslims and Christians, and hopefully we can carve out a victory over there. So you make a good point there about maybe it's the Congress just setting itself up and hedging its bets for a future demography that may emerge. And that is a very interesting point. And you know, they're hedging their bets to an extent where they're open to openly associating themselves with outfits like Jamaat Islami, with outfits like Social Democratic Party of India, which is like the political arm of PFI. PFI is an openly Islamist organization, and that is an
So,
organization that they're not afraid of openly associating with. I mean, if you saw the rally, of the video of the rally when Rahul Gandhi was coming into Wayanad as well, that was pretty indicative of the point that you're trying to make as well. So, Kushal, let me ask you, like, what do you make of this whole situation? Do you also feel
yeah.
like it's the Congress party sort of hedging its bets?
No, in fact, I want to add one more thing that nobody wants to talk about. The Congress party is not only saying we don't want the Hindu votes, the Congress party is also saying we actually don't care a lot about the Christian vote too.
Hmm.
Because if they cared about it, why would they select the one seat that has 56% Muslim voters?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I mean, it's a question that needs to be asked of the Congress, right? I mean, I want to know the Congress, who do they really care for? I think the selection of the seat is a pretty clear answer. I think the Congress has come to terms with the trajectory the nation is going to go demographically. Is the Congress trying to say something out of this, seat choice? I don't know. I'm just asking questions, right? I'm an innocent voter living in Mumbai, Maharashtra, innocently looking around. When Modi selected Varanasi, it was not like he was going to lose in Gujarat. He knew he would win in Gujarat. He would stand in any seat in Gujarat, and Narendra Modi was going to win.
Yeah.
The real reason Rahul Gandhi has left Amethi and has got to Wayanad, he knows he might lose Amethi this time. Let's just face the facts. The man knows he might lose Amethi. डर गया है बेचारा, उसको लग रहा है यार मैं हार जाऊंगा तो फिर मेरे साथ क्या होगा. अभी हारना, और गांधियों को हारने की लोग भूल गए. गांधियों को इतनी आदत नहीं है हारने की. They're not used to losing a lot in politics. I mean, I know Indira Gandhi lost during that whole emergency saga ke time pe, she had lost once, but the point is they're not really used to losing. So, right now the Gandhis are behaving like the Australian cricket team after Ricky Ponting had retired, if you remember, they're not really used to losing. तो फिर वो छोटे काके के जैसे रोना शुरू कर देते हैं जब कोई हारने का टाइम आता है. So I think they basically, the Congress is actually destroying the non-negotiables of India. And I'm telling you, it is this new Congress, which is, I call the apification of the Congress. This is clear. Every time I think my point keeps getting proven right, that, AAP broke the glass ceiling, and the Congress is like, now let's just go all in. Let all the animals out of the zoo. So they're just going the whole hog. And you know what? I think you're a Hindu in India, you should question the Congress. You should question the Congress about what their priorities are. Why that? I'm not talking about the district, and they're trying to do a sleight of hand by confusing the Wayanad district with the constituency Rahul Gandhi is fighting from. Any time somebody does that trick with you, tell them, नहीं मेरे को उसकी constituency की demography की बात करनी है, मेरे को वो district की नहीं करनी है. ऐसे तो फिर पूरी country की demography की बात कर लो ना. इंडिया फिर वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ही क्यों अटक रहे हो? पूरी इंडिया की डेमोग्राफी की बात कर लो ना. इंडिया में तो ये 78% या 79% जो भी है सेंसस के हिसाब से 2011 के हिंदूज हैं. तो ये कोई लॉजिक नहीं है. अगर एक एमपी इलेक्शन की बात हो रही है, उस स्पेसिफिक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी की बात होगी, डेमोग्राफी की नहीं हम पूरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट को करेंगे. ये तो कांग्रेस की टिपिकल है. एंड सी यूजुअली व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इज, आई थिंक Rahul Gandhi is the most indefensible person ever in the history of Indian politics. Like, you can't defend the man because he doesn't know what he's going to say tomorrow. वो तो जैसे तुम्हारा कहा था ना कि मम्मी मेरे को नहीं बोलना, और मम्मी धक्का मार देती है और जाके वो बेचारा कुछ शगुफे करता है. I think Rahul Gandhi, and thanks to Rahul ने मेरे को शेयर किया था वो वीडियो. Rahul Gandhi is becoming quite a sensation on TikTok also. TikTok बनने शुरू हो गए हैं. So let's just say it's a very interesting time in Indian politics, and I think the next 10-15 years are going to significantly decide the trajectory of Indian politics now.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I want to come to another topic that we want to quickly discuss before we go on to things we hate and things we liked this week. So this is a tweet that Kushal, you shared with me, and I'm going to bring this up on the window right here so people can see as well. So this is a tweet by Divya, and the original tweet was by a lady called Rohini Singh, who, whoopsie daisy, where'd it go? Oh, here we are. Can we see it now?
Yep.
Okay, terrific. So this was a tweet by a lady called Rohini Singh, which said, it's very perturbing to see people with IIT, IIM backgrounds, some whose parents are top corporate honchos, spreading fake news, creating communal tensions, and harassing critics of the government. How much money can it possibly pay to demean your education this way? Now, this, Kushal, I'll let you take this immediately, but this, I just want to tell the audience that if you can spot the very dishonest assumption that this tweet makes right off the bat. Kushal, go ahead.
No, इसमें सबसे पहले तो हमको देखो, ना मैं IIT ना मैं IIM. जरा राहुल रोशन से पूछ ले, वो भाई साहब वो पढ़े लिखे हैं, वो IIM वाले हैं. तो राहुल, व्हाट डू यू थिंक, कितने पैसे दिए तुमको बीजेपी ने?
5 रुपए पर ट्वीट. मैंने की भाई देखो मुझे उतना चाहिए जितना कम से कम कांग्रेस वो जो जिसकी बात तुमने की रोहिणी उसको देती है। ठीक, तो मैं मान गया, क्योंकि मैं तो कुछ पढ़ा लिखा हूँ नहीं,
Yeah.
कोई पढ़े
No,
लिखे नहीं है।
I just think it's incredible that and we were talking about this offline, and Kushal, you mentioned this as well, and I thought it was a very interesting point when you said कि अच्छा या तो बीजेपी सपोर्टर गंवार है, अगर तुम मोदी को वोट कर रहे हो, अगर तुम बीजेपी को सपोर्ट कर रहे हो तो तुम पूरी तरह से गंवार है, तुम पूरी तरह से गंवार हो, या फिर तुम अगर आईआईटी सॉरी गो अहेड
Sam, my internet is patchy, so maybe I'll make final points and drop off.
Sure, go ahead.
So so these guys play both ways, like on one hand they would try to say that okay, BJP guys are not well educated and all that, and then they themselves know that once the other side starts throwing their degrees, then these guys will be nowhere. I mean, they are what? I mean, like all arts graduates mostly, and here on the other side are mostly, engineers and MBAs and the bankers. So then they go on to some other trajectory. All this, because they don't have studied liberal arts, so they don't have heart, they don't have the ability to understand these things about soft issues and all. So they have to first decide: are they going to argue based on degrees and education, or is their main argument is that certain kind of education only is the real education?
Yeah.
So they should first make up their mind that do they really think that only BA English honors, that's the only education, legitimate education, or MBAs, engineers, CAs, they also this education is also worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, Rahul makes a very valid point. And Rahul, Nupur has been watching this live. So Nupur says, please tell Rahul I want my cut.
50 paise I might give her. Okay.
5 रुपए में भी कट चाहिए यार, आधा 5 रुपए को तो छोड़ दो.
नहीं 5 रुपए पर ट्वीट मैटर करता है यार. But no, Rahul has raised some very important points and I want to add to this. So again, 2-3 assumptions in this. Assumption number 1, even when they are trying to narrow down the meaning of what an educated person means. They don't mean educated, they mean indoctrinated. There's a difference being educated and indoctrinated. They're like, हमने curriculum control किया, हमने तुमको गलत हिस्ट्री बताई, हमने तुमको गिल्ट ट्रिप किया. वो सालों बेशर्मो, उसके बाद भी तुम हमारे से डिसएग्री करते हो. ये कैसी पढ़ाई की तुमने? तुमको पक्का कोई पैसे दे रहा है. ये पॉइंट नंबर 1 है. दूसरा, कई बार मुझे लाइफ में लगता है कि इट टेक्स वन टू नो वन. देखो मेरा तो फंडा बड़ा क्लियर है. ये लोगों को क्या मिलते हैं क्या कुछ? मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूं जिस बंदे का हमने ट्वीट शेयर किया उसको कुछ मिला होगा, आई डोंट नो, बट हो सकता है. सोचो जिसको आइडिया होगा कि कुछ कट मिलता है और कट मिलने के बाद कुछ होता है.
assumption that you're making, if that's the first assumption that you're making कि अच्छा somebody is disagreeing with me, कोई मेरे से agree नहीं कर रहा, इसका मतलब कि इसको पैसे मिलते होंगे, then it says a little bit about you as well.
Yeah, and that's the other point. But primarily it is about, and I'm sure all of us has experienced this in our lives, man. We've always had these cases where we would meet our friends, college reunions hoti hain, and usme kuch log aayenge, and usually we don't discuss politics, but sometime politics discuss hoti hai. और जब पॉलिटिक्स डिस्कस होने लगती है फिर लोग कहते हैं कि ओ मैन आई कांट बिलीव दीस पीपल. एक तो वो यार का जो या हो गया ना, मेरा मन करता है टेटवा दबा दूं उन लोगों का.
अच्छा, आई डिडंट नो कि मुंबई में भी ऐसा होता है, तो दिस वाज अ वेरी दिल्ली फिनोमेनन.
नहीं ये तो मुंबई में भी होता है ना.
यार मुंबई आल्सो. ओके.
या वो जो बैंड्रा वाले होते हैं ना बॉम्बे के, एक कम हियर या करते रहते हैं, बड़े इरिटेटिंग.
साउथ दिल्ली इन दिल्ली, साउथ दिल्ली एंड गुड़गांव इन दिल्ली एंड बैंड्रा इन मुंबई. ओके.
I call it the ya disorder. मतलब यार तुम्हारी स्पीच में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, बराबर बोलो ना. तो
are you saying ya? Are you saying ja ya in German? What are you saying?
So जैसा मैंने कहा कि I think it's, you know, behind this is such a condescending mindset that तुम लोग IIT IIM में जाके भी सुधरे नहीं. I mean, who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell? कौन हो आप लोग? And how dare you actually tell somebody that how can you vote for the other side? They're not reasonable people. And again, I don't want to paint the whole picture that every single left-wing friend of mine is like that. They're not. But yeah, these so-called ठेकेदार, ये जो ठेकेदार है ना, हमारी थॉट पुलिस है ये दुनिया की. ये लेफ्ट विंग थॉट पुलिस है, हमारे चौकीदार है जो हर जगह घूमते रहते हैं और बोलते रहते हैं लोगों को कि तुम कैसे सोचोगे, कि you can't think a certain way, you can't think that way, you can't think this way. They're getting rejected. Their politics of control and authoritarianism is getting rejected everywhere in the world. And you know what? All I can say is, after this election result comes, hopefully BJP wins. I'm really going to troll a lot of people in my personal circle.
That will be fun. That will be fun if the results pan out the way they should pan out. All right. So before we move on to things we hate and things we like this week, I want to make sure to thank Rahul Roushan for coming up on the show today. It was really fun to have him on. Unfortunately, his connection was a bit spotty. Maybe it was our end, maybe it was his end. I'm not quite sure. But it was fun to have him on. It was fun to have his opinions as well. So hopefully we'll be able to have him on a future episode as well. So thanks, Rahul, for coming on. Okay, so let's move on to things we hate and things we like for this week. So let's start with you, Kushal Bhai, with something that you hated this week. So let me just share the screen with the audience again. Now, I don't know if they'll be able to necessarily hear it. Oh, where'd it go?
Yeah, we don't want to play the video. I can explain the whole scenario.
Yeah,
because
so
I wanted to make a larger point. Just share the screen of the tweet of the ex-Muslims of North America.
Yeah, let me just, here we go, and share. There we are. So this is basically the tweet.
Yeah, so as the tweet goes, the tweet is by the Twitter handle of the ex-Muslims of North America, which says, today, a professor at a Pakistani college was murdered by a student for blasphemy. When asked whether he was satisfied with his actions, the killer responded, absolutely, thanks be to God. Basically, उसने कहा था कि बिल्कुल inshallah. That's what he said. Now, this is a very scary mindset. And last night, there was another video, I think, shared by an Egyptian ex-Muslim or atheist. And he shared a video which I had tweeted about around, I think, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the night, last night. And that guy was literally, airing a video from a bathroom where he was so scared. And he was saying, I don't know how long I'm going to live. Maybe I'm going to die very soon. It's really scary. I just wanted to talk about this, and in the light of what has happened in New Zealand, which we have condemned on the OpIndia podcast, I think we should also talk about the plight of a minority within a minority somewhere in the world. And, a lot of times, yeah, people can say, Kushal, you have an affinity to atheists. Leave that aside. These guys are human beings, man.
Yeah.
What is their, क्या गुनाह किया उन्होंने बोला मैं तेरे भगवान में नहीं मानता, उसके लिए मार दोगे किसी को, या तुमने क्वेश्चन कर लिया एक रिलीजियस आइडिया को. I just wanted to talk about that. There atheism is a rising moment in the Islamic world. A lot of people actually have no idea about it. They actually don't know what's happening in the Islamic world. Richard Dawkins' book, The God Delusions, translation in Arabic, has got millions of downloads in the Arab world. People will be surprised. There's another blogger, Raif Badawi, who's lying in the jails in Saudi Arabia. He's being, lashed, I don't know how many times. It's sickening. You have the Bangladeshi bloggers right across, the border over here, who, I'm not going to take any names here, but a few days ago, a particular Bangladeshi blogger had messaged me personally, crying for help.
Yeah.
That please help me. मैं मर जाऊंगा अगर मैं वापस गया. They'll kill me. And, I was very helpless. And all I could tell that guy is, bro, I'm sorry. I can't help you, because even if I made sure that you live in India, I don't know if I can protect you, because you look at the case of Taslima Nasreen. She can't travel to Bengal, right? The Bengal government is like, nahi, hum nahi aane denge aapko. I mean, obviously the Bengal government, and if anything, the BJP government, if it forms a state level government in Bengal ever, they should make a statement by making sure Taslima Nasreen at least goes to Bengal, stays there, and she's protected. So all I wanted to do was, raise some, put some light on the issue of the plight of ex-Muslims and atheists in the Islamic world. And, I want to request, हाथ जोड़ के request कर रहा हूं मैं, to all my fellow Hindus and Indians, let us not make our country like these hellholes are. We are far better than them. Our civilizations have never treated, atheists like this. हमारे में नास्तिक निरीश्वरवादियों के साथ कभी ऐसा नहीं किया गया है. And we should not become like them. I know there is a certain segment, and you only see it online. I have never seen it offline in all my life. I have been a very vocal disbeliever. And I just feel sad. And I always request every single Hindu that I meet. I take a lot of pride in my being a Hindu. I take a lot of pride in that. Does not mean that I don't criticize Hinduism and some tenets of Hinduism, but overall, I'm a proud Hindu. Let us not lose our essence, and let us make sure that we fight for this plural essence till the last breath in our body. Let us not make India like these damn countries we have in our neighboring area. So that's all I wanted to do.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to something you enjoyed this week. So I'm going to share the screen again, and this is truly a great facet of Indian democracy. So
ये बेस्ट था यार. ये मैंने सेव करके रखा था.
Denied ticket. Congress lawmaker takes away 300 chairs from party office. तुम टिकट नहीं दोगे, मैं अपनी कुर्सी लेके भी घर जा रहा हूँ.
तुमने टिकट नहीं दी, कट्टी. अभी हम कुर्सी लेके जा रहे हैं, कट्टी.
I'm just imagining the scene. So this guy gets told by party leadership कि हाँ भाई तुमको सीट नहीं मिलेगी. So he goes outside, calls his tempo on the phone. Hey, tempo, idhar aao. Tempo arrives at the Congress office. Then he hires 2 or 3 people. He says, hey, idhar aao, chullu bullu, idhar aao. So सारी कुर्सी टेम्पो में डालो, सारी कुर्सी टेम्पो में डालो, वापस लेके जाओ इसको. I am just imagining that 20 to 30 to 40 minute period where this is happening, and how awkward it must be in the office where this guy is sitting around moving every single chair.
Imagine karo na. So in the MLA's name I think was Abdul Sattar. So office में क्या होएगा? कुर्सी निकालो जरा. तो लोग मुझे अब्दुल भाई क्या हो गया? अरे हमको टिकटवा नहीं दिया भाई, हम कुर्सी लेके जा रहा हूँ.
जा रहे हैं. Oh, amazing. Like this is, see, you can present me anything from anywhere else in the world, and I feel like India can almost top it in terms of politics nonsense.
नहीं मगर ऐसा नहीं है. मतलब पाकिस्तान हमको इसमें बड़ी कंपटीशन देता है. अगर नायला इनायत का ट्विटर हैंडल, मतलब क्रिकेट को स्पोर्ट्स से दूर रखो, जो हम लोग ने लास्ट टाइम शेयर किया था वो भी बड़ा तगड़ा था. क्रिकेट को स्पोर्ट्स से दूर रखो, ये क्या होता है?
प्लीज. Amazing. Yeah, no, so that was pretty fantastic. So acha, now moving on to something that I hated this week, and I'm also not going to necessarily play this video. I'm just going to show you this tweet. So this tweet is basically of Mehbooba Mufti speaking at some press conference somewhere or at an event somewhere, and she says, if you break that bridge, apparently Article 370 is a bridge between India and Kashmir. I did not know that. But apparently it's a thing according to the delusions of Miss Mufti. She says if you break that bridge, then you will have to renegotiate the relationship between India and Jammu and Kashmir. There will be new conditions. A Muslim majority state wouldn't even want to stay with you. If you scrap 370, then your relationship with Jammu and Kashmir would be over. And I just want to say that it's, most of the people that have complained about this tweet have been people that are, so you would say, are on the right wing, or are Hindu folk have complained about this tweet. But what is incredible to me, that it is so incredibly insulting, this tweet, to the Muslims of India. It is basically insinuating that if Muslims in India are going to be a majority anywhere in India, anywhere, in any part of India, that they would not want to coexist with Hindus. That is what it's basically saying. That if Muslims become a majority anywhere in India, that means they do not want to stay with Hindus. So you're making the assumptions that Muslims naturally do not want to exist with Hindus. And that the moment Muslims get an opportunity, they will carve out a separate state and move away. So it's incredible to me that a lot of liberals that say that Arey Musalmanon ke baare mein aisa mat bolo yaar, they do not come out and condemn this tweet, hook, line, and sinker. Ki, how dare you paint the Muslim community in such a horrible light? How dare you say that there are not millions and millions of patriotic Muslims within India that do not want the integrity of India to be broken, that do not want, India to be divided into a bunch of different parts. Like, that's the part that absolutely flabbergasts me, that nobody finds that part of her statement absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, it's actually such a crazy statement, and these are these sweeping assumptions every time we hear, especially
And by the
in the
way, this is
left-wing
not
politics.
coming from a Hindutvawadi source, this assumption.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's been fairly clear from day one. I mean, if you read all kinds of literature and speeches made by most of these people, that see every speech, and we always say that you cannot make certain claims or speeches without certain a priori assumptions, and we keep on harping on those a priori assumptions. And the assumption made over here is that Muslims do not think that they are a part of the overall national fabric of
Yep.
India. It's pretty clear. Too, a lot of times you will see assumptions being made that Muslims are have some kind of weird affiliation with Pakistan,
Yeah.
and yeah, and then what happens is the left dog whistles in a very weird way, and then the rabid element on the non-left, the bigoted element in the non-left, they pick that up, they pick that dog whistle. Usually क्या होता है मालूम है, बाकी देशों में जैसे Republicans में, the Republicans will dog whistle to the white nationalists or the KKK ones. यहाँ पे उल्टा होता है, यहाँ पे the left wing dog whistles to the crazy side, and everybody else in the middle is like ये क्या हो रहा है, ये क्या हो रहा है.
वो क्या है भाई?
So it's actually very, very, very weird. The dog whistle is coming from the left. The
Yeah.
dog whistle is not coming from the BJP mainstream. The BJP mainstream keeps on harping on the point that Muslims are also nationalists like us. But the left wing says, nah, ji, wo to nationalist hai nahi, wo to deshdrohi hai.
Exactly.
It's so weird, but it is what it is, and it's just the way our entire political system has been designed now, which is very, very scary. But I think there are enough good voices coming up now, thanks to the internet, who are countering it in their own way. And I've always said this, I think beyond a certain point, we as Hindus cannot talk beyond a certain point about what's happening in the Muslim Samaj. What we can do is empower the ex-Muslims, empower the secular voices within the Muslim societies, not just in India, but globally. And we just need to empower them, and we need to push and prop every single voice in those sense. We criticize it, we talk to them, but beyond a point, it has to be someone from within their societies that need to go ahead. See, when Mehbooba Mufti makes a statement like this, I don't see the counter from a mainstream Muslim voice.
Exactly.
Or if there is a counter, the media doesn't go to them. So what we should start doing as alternative media, because now we are alternative media outlets. What we are doing here in OpIndia via our podcast, this is a proper alternative media platform.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to start getting those reasonable voices in the Muslim Samaj to our platforms and start talking to them. Maybe we have to do that, because I don't see any other way out in this mess, really.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's just a it's just a crazy situation all around, and I think you're right in the sense that there are enough voices coming out that are speaking up against this crazy infantilizing of the Muslim community by the left, in the sense that, Array, we know what you are all about. We know that you don't like Hindus. We know that you don't want to be part of India. We know that you have no loyalties towards India. Don't worry, we know what's best for you. That sort of infantilizing of the Muslim community also needs to go away. And I think the alternative media is going to play, hopefully, a big part in bringing more moderate Muslim voices forward. All right. Another thing I want to talk about now, this is something that I really enjoyed. Now, this is a video that was put out by Siddharth Varadarajan, who's the owner of The Wire. He put out this video about Farha Naqvi, who was talking about Hinduism versus Hindutva. So she's basically in this video. Let me just go to this video really quick and I'll just play it because you can see the text in the video. Let me just play it for you. So you can see in this video that she's talking about the composite culture of India, and India has such a wonderful composite culture. But sadly, this wonderful composite culture is being destroyed by the Hindutva folks. And to drive home that point, she takes the example of the Mewati Muslims. She says that the Muslims of Mewat, they were originally Rajput Hindus, but were converted to Islam. And after their conversion to Islam, they held on to a lot of their Hindu traditions, Hindu beliefs. And so they used to have folk songs where they used to pray to Allah that their family gets children like Krishna. That's what their songs used to be like. Wonderful. That is really wonderful. First of all, what I really enjoy about this video is that it's black and white. Every time it is an unofficial rule of video making that if it's in black and white, then shit's real. So that's one of the things I really enjoy about these videos. If it's black and white, that means it's some deep shit. So that's what I really enjoy about this video. I also really enjoy about this video is this clever way of sort of shifting the narrative, clever way of taking Hindu tenets and then turning them around and then beating the Hindu community with it. Tumhare tenets se tumhare ko peetenge. And basically what it does is it absolves all the other communities of any blame, any need for change, any need for introspection or anything like that. So basically Farha Naqvi comes out and says कि भाई देखो मुस्लिम मेवाती कम्युनिटी कितनी अच्छी है क्योंकि वहां पे देखो इस तरह के प्यारे प्यारे गाने गाए जाते हैं, कॉम्पोजिट कल्चर होता है, ये होता है, और ये हिंदुत्व वाले जो लोग हैं ये ऐसे लोगों को मारना चाहते हैं and they want to destroy this culture. First of all, where is the evidence that Hindus want to destroy a culture like that? Where is the evidence? If anything, what Hindutvawadis want are more people like the Mewati Muslims, if anything. So that's what I would say. And secondly, let's look at what happened with the Mewati Muslims. The Mewati Muslims used to have songs like that, folk songs like that. What happened? Why do Mewati Muslims now walk around with large beards, no mustaches, chota pants and all of that? Why is that happening? Because the Deobandi Maulvis and the Tablighi Jamaat, they went to the Mewati Muslims and they said कि देखो भाई ये जो गाना वाना तुम कर रहे हो, all of this stuff that अरे भैया मुझे श्री कृष्ण जैसा बेटा दो, all of this nonsense is completely un-Islamic, so please stop doing this nonsense. तो ये सब बंद करवा दिया उनका. The Deoband ulemas, they also introduced beef eating into the Mewati community. Mewati community, even after converting from Hinduism to Islam, did not used to eat beef. They said कि नहीं हमारा ये कल्चर नहीं, हम नहीं खाते. जबरदस्ती उनको बीफ खिलवाना शुरू किया. और उसके बाद आप बोल रहे हो कि नहीं ये तो हिंदुत्ववादियों की गलती है क्योंकि they want to change the culture. Hindutvawadis had no issues with the Mewati Muslims whatsoever. Not at one point did they go to the Mewati Muslims say कि अच्छा ये गाने मत गाओ या वो गाने मत गाओ, ये मत करो या वो मत करो. Who went to the Mewati Muslims and asked them to change their culture and change their traditions? ये बताओ जरा मुझे. So I found this funny, very ironically, because it is a very clever attempt at taking Hindu tenets and just beating the Hindu community over the head with it. And my favorite part was that the fact that it was in black and white, because black and white apparently means that it's true. So I want to quickly get your thoughts on this whole idea of apparently this Hindutwadi brigade trying to destroy culture and no other community has any hand in it whatsoever.
No, it's actually quite fascinating that the first thing that needs to be appreciated is that if a core Islamic tenet gets diluted by influx of dharmic thinking, then we should welcome that. That's not an issue. We should all welcome that, because the way Abrahamic religions are structured, they actually do not believe in mutual respect. That's why the entire Western world had to come up with the garbage concept of tolerance, because of the way the Abrahamic religions are made. They can't respect the other one. They can only tolerate them
to a point.
Yeah, so it's actually, I would love for the entire Indian Islam to be like the Mewati Muslims Islam, I got no issues, because that is just another Hinduized version of Islam, and we just call it Islam. It's just Hinduism in the garb of Islamism or whatever, Islam.
Yeah, basically, it's a system where the Ishta Devta is Allah. That's basically it.
Yeah, that should be welcomed. But having said that, again, this is a classic case of one-sided harmony, man. They eventually change the whole thing, and then you superimpose your harmony on the other side. And that's been my grouse with the whole discussion around in India. It's like always you have to adjust to the Abrahamic template. Why can't the Abrahamic template adjust to the Dharmic template? Kabhi change mein bhi to aaya karo na. And this has been my grouse from day one. And I actually, you know what, till a large extent, I am now, my grouse is with the overall discourse in India, and I add the Hindus in it also. I think the Hindus are also not essentially pushing back on the core tenets of Hinduism. I think there is a certain loud element in the Hindu Samaj also that is very Abrahamized, and I don't enjoy that element. You know, we should, if anything, danke ki chot pe humko mutual respect or reciprocity demand karni chahiye. It is the way we have lived in this country, from what I have understood, for at least 5,000 to 6,000 years. This has been our way. It doesn't mean we did not have any problems before somebody gets. Yes, we know the caste realities, we know the atrocities that have happened in India, we know all of that. But in spite of that, there is something in this soil that whatever ideologies are indigenous to this soil were able to adjust, were able to come up with mutual respect. And you know, हमने बुद्ध को भी अवतार बनाया eventually, इसी समाज ने बनाया ना. See, we have had the great system of digesting and absorbing our other deities into our pantheon. हम बाहर नहीं निकालते, हम हमारे नंबर ऑफ देवतास बढ़ाने में विश्वास रखते हैं, अनलाइक अदर रिलीजन्स हु से नहीं एक ही होगा और वो भी मेरा होगा. Hinduism is the complete opposite doctrinal system. Hinduism says, अच्छा तेरे पास भगवान है, बता तेरा भगवान क्या करता है, अच्छा ये करता है, आजा वो मेरा भी हो गया. एक्स्ट्रा मिल रहा है ना. हमारे यहाँ पे हमेशा हमने विश्वास रखा है कि the more the merrier.
अरे प्यार बांटने से बढ़ता है ना, वही सिस्टम है.
Yes, that has been the essential dharmic way. It has always been the Indian way, the Hindu way. And the more we talk about it, the more safer we are as a civilization. And I absolutely say it every time. Mutual respect and reciprocity has to be the non-negotiable of the Indian civilizational narrative. Nothing else will do other than mutual respect. Anybody who believes in that is part of this civilization, whether they live in this landmass or they live outside this landmass. They are part of our civilizational narrative. Beyond that, if people refuse to believe in the narrative of mutual respect and reciprocity, we have to debate with them and bring them on our side. And if there are some people outside who believe in these weird concepts and they want to join our narrative, they have to be stopped. We cannot have this land strength has been, जो आता था उसको हम अपना बना लेते थे. कुछ आए हैं जो कुछ ideas, I'm talking at the level of ideas, not people. Yes, मगर कुछ ideas आए हैं वो हमारे narrative में merge नहीं हो रहे हैं. और अगर वो merge नहीं होने वाले हैं, I am sorry, those ideas should not be welcomed. Islam has to become Hindufied in India. Christianity has to become Hindufied in India, and till a large extent they are. And we have to delineate ourselves from the Wahhabi Saudi Islam. We reject that Islam. Our fellow Muslims reject that Islam. This is our way. But this sermonizing, ये जो हर time ये sermonizing आती है ना, उनको बोलो भाई, ये sermons कभी जाके मौलवी को दे दे. सारे प्रवचन, सारे सत्संग ये हिंदुओं के लिए एक्सक्लूसिवली रखे जाते हैं. ये मेरे को समझ नहीं पड़ता है. मैं नहीं कह रहा हूं हिंदुओं को बोलना नहीं होता है, मैंने 15 मिनट में लास्ट 5 मिनट हिंदुओं को सुनाया है. मगर पॉइंट है, कभी कभी थोड़ा लेफ्ट टर्न मार लो, मुसलमानों के पास भी चले जाओ, उनसे भी कभी थोड़ी गप्पे शप्पे मार लिया करो, उनको भी पूछो कि तुम थोड़े अपने कोर टेनेट्स में एडजस्ट करने को तैयार. सी देयर आर लॉट ऑफ, लाइक वी नेवर हियर ऑफ द मुस्लिम वॉइसेस हु टॉक अबाउट हमको बीफ नहीं खाना. कभी सुना है क्या? देयर आर वॉइसेस लाइक दैट इन द इस्लामिक समाज टू. And they use their text to make the argument that, you know, the prophet said गाय नहीं खानी चाहिए. I'm not making the guy an issue, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, look, there are people who are making the effort to adjust religiously into our narrative and fit their religion into the narrative of what this society believed in. Who would have a problem with that? Tell me one
Exactly.
Hindu who will have a problem with that.
Exactly, and वो भी ना, we see parallels with the US as well, and I'm not equating those two, not exactly the same, but it's a decent analogy, I feel, where you see somebody who's from a African American community. If an African American goes to vote Republican, they will say that he's a race traitor, that he has lost his race card. He is not part of the black race anymore, and we must condemn him. He's a slave. He's still a slave. And if a Muslim says that no, I want to vote for the BJP, or I don't agree with some of the things within Islamic ideology, so he's a traitor to his religion. He's a traitor to his religion. He's a traitor to humankind, and he's basically a slave to the Hindus. And that sort of demonization really, really needs to go.
Yeah, kaum ke gaddar.
Kaum ke gaddar, exactly. That kind of nonsense really needs to go. And yeah, I think it's completely legitimate to question ideology. Questioning ideology has always been different from questioning or attacking people, and we must always try to maintain that difference. And hopefully on the OpIndia podcast, we try and maintain that difference always. So we'll end today's podcast with that bit of discussion as well. Guys, again, thank you very much for watching today's episode. I really, really appreciate you guys. As usual, if you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to give it a like. Please make sure to share it. And please make sure to subscribe to the OpIndia YouTube channel if you want to continue to see content like this and lots of other fantastic content that's available on the OpIndia YouTube channel as well. As usual, I've been Sham Sharma, and I will leave you with Kushal Mehra for the final word.
So guys, in the live chat, as I was reading, I was trying to read a lot of the questions you guys were asking on the live chat. So my request to you is, if you have any feedback for the podcast, please email. That's the best way to contact us. Just email feedback@opindia.com. And like I always say, to make things happen here at OpIndia, we need your financial support too. So please visit the website, click the support button, and give whatever you can in whichever way you can. Everybody keeps talking about ecosystem बनाएंगे. Ecosystem मच्छर मारने या हवा खाने से नहीं बनते. Ecosystem सिर्फ एक ही चीज से बनते हैं, वो है ideas, और ideas backed by money. So ideas हमारे पास बहुत है, पैसे की कमी है, भाई पैसे दो. And on that note, I would like to say thanks a lot for watching us, and it was exciting to see Rahul finally come on the OpIndia podcast. So thanks a lot to Rahul Roushan too. And on that note, I'll say namaskar, goodbye, and good night.
Good night, guys.